This trail has been closed for about 10 years, and they just reopened it this year. There's the gate there. And it's one of those trails that was very popular before the motor use vehicle plan came in 2010. And this trail was closed for most of that time. And they seem to have just reopened it this year, 2019. Before this road was closed, the Forest Service did make a number of improvements on it. Here's a stream crossing that they put the cement blocks in to prevent erosion. We're not sure why they closed it, but one reason might be that there are some mines along the road. Here's one right here. It's kind of hard to see back in there, but there was once a tunnel that went in, and it's since caved in. It is on Forest Service land, so most of these tunnels have been closed or caved in now. As you can see, the trail is in places it's heavily grown up. There's weeds in there, so if you do ride at these trails, make sure that you're carry a fire extinguisher, I guess, so that you don't start the weeds on fire with your muffler. As you can see, you're going to be going through some relatively high weeds that block portions of these closed trails. There's no doubt that these are trails. Some of them are numbered on the map. If you get an old Forest Service map, you can find the numbers. Basically, the map that was published in 2010 had all the trails on it. So you can find these trails marked on that map. The newer maps may not have these trails indicated, but they are actually Forest Service trails that, most of them are what we used to call FDRs, or Forest Development Roads. There's another one that's looks like it's not even a trail, but you can kind of see how it goes through that open field there. There are no markers. On these new trails that have been opened, they haven't got out there and put any markers in them yet. So if you have, like I say, the older maps, you can correlate where these trails are. But like I say, don't start any forest fires by driving over these weeds with a hot muffler. That's probably not going to be likely in a modern machine, but it's something to bear in mind. Some of the trails are pretty woodsy, and they've had a chance to be quite overgrown. This particular trail doesn't have any downed trees or anything. So it's clear. There's nothing, it's not a terribly long trail, but there was nothing on it that would indicate any serious problems. As you can see, there's some nice views from these trails. And again, they're mostly grassland. We're not sure why they reopened these trails. Some of it might be that they go to mining interests or private properties, or a lot of times they will take a closed trail and open it because they plan on doing some forestry work in there. They're going to be harvesting trees, but this particular trail doesn't look like it's got any tree harvesting in store for it. It's just a nice little trail through the woods. I've heard people say that one of the reasons they're opening some of these trails is because that they did get clogged up, and in the event of a fire or something like that, or an emergency, that the Forest Service wouldn't be able to get into some of these trails, so they've decided to reopen them in order to put a little traffic on them to keep them open. I don't know if that's true or not. You hear these kind of rumors from other riders, and people who say they know what's going on with this stuff, but The only thing that does seem to be true is that there are quite a number of trails now that have been closed for a number of years, that when you go up to them and you suddenly find the gates wide open, and you know, if the gate's open, it's an open trail. Another reason some trails might be open now where they weren't open before is that originally when they did the motor vehicle use plan back in 2010, they only left about 400 miles of trail open, and the trails that they did leave open, and some of the areas where people are riding are just getting terribly beat up, because the riding is concentrated on a few areas. This is particularly true in trails around Nemo and trails up in some other heavily used parts of the Black Hills. So maybe they're trying to disperse traffic a little bit. They don't seem to say anything, at least not to me, or anybody I know for that matter. One thing about it is these old newly reopened trails are generally in really good shape. I mean, they're smooth, and if you like grassy trails, they don't have a lot of rocky surfaces on them. Little washouts here and there, nothing serious. Anyway, if you come to the Black Hills, be on the lookout for newly opened trails. Some of them aren't marked on the map yet as being open. And who knows, maybe they aren't. But like I say, if the gate's open, drive through. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's kind of short, kind of sweet. Give you some idea what to expect out there if you find one of these newly open trails. This could be any trail, so it's not important as to which one it is, but hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.